Moving from one shot to the next is a big part of the editor's job. Call me a traditionalist, but my personal favorite is the straight cut. Sometimes, though, the standard transitions aren't going to cut it. This week, we're going to take a look at several ways that you can make magic by building your own custom transitions. All the cards are on the table, and I got nothing up my sleeve. We're cutting class.
Most NLEs come packed with a great number of preloaded transitions. Some you might use all the time, others you might not use at all. Either way, a lot of those transitions are going to look pretty generic. That doesn't mean you're forced into using all the transitions that come with your NLE. You can create your own with some pretty satisfying results. Before we start to build transitions, why don't we get an idea of how they work by tapping the archives.
The human visual system is an amazing marvel of biology. It's able to discern color, contrast, shape, and movement, and it uses all of these things to put together the big picture. Synthetic moving image systems such as video and film simulate motion by sequencing multiple still images over a short time span. The arrangement of and the changes in these images are perceived as motion. Depending on the rate of change, our eyes can be tricked and not entirely process an image. For instance, what's this?
Was it a gazelle with a rocket strapped to its back?
No! Watch again!
I still say it was a gazelle.
Jimmy, your perception is way off. It's a charging rhino. Remember this, what you see on screen might not really be there. And if you see a rhino, run!
That's good info. You know, as editors, we need to be aware that the way we draw our viewer's eye is based on our perception of movement. Let's start building. If you're familiar with Digital Juice, you're probably familiar with the transitional wipes that are included in editors' toolkits. These are short black and white animations that, when used as a lumimat between two clips, give you a stylized and textured transition. You can build your own using clips of video. It's pretty easy and allows you to stylize what you want. I'm going to start with this clip. We're doing this in Final Cut Pro, but really you can do it in any application that can utilize lumimats. The technique may vary, but the theory is the same. First, I want to add a desaturate filter to the clip, making it black and white. Since we'll be using this clip as a lumimat, I want the beginning of the clip to be black and change to white at the end. I'm going to place my playhead at a midpoint in the clip where I like the action of the clip and the contrast in the luminance. Next, I'm going to add a levels filter. This way I can adjust the image and keyframe all the properties of the level adjustments. Back the playhead up to the very beginning of the clip and adjust the levels to make the entire clip black. New keyframes are set, and we'll move the playhead to the very end of the clip and adjust the levels to make the entire clip white. Again, new keyframes are set. I'm going to go back through and ease adjust all my keyframes. My clip is now ready to become a transition. Okay, now that we've built our transitional element, let's put it into action. Place the shot leading into our transition on the bottom track. Place the transition clip on the second track, on top of the leading shot and butting up to the end. The shot leading out of the transition we'll place on the third track above the transition with the heads lining up. Now we'll select the compositing mode of this shot to be Travel Matte Luma, and we have our own custom transition. Another way to use luminance to create a transition is to simply use a luma key. A luma key adds transparency to a clip by applying any value under or over a selected luminance threshold to the clip's alpha channel. Let's place our lead clip on the second track of our timeline. We'll place our trailing clip under the lead, tucked under it to the point where we want our transition to begin. We'll apply a luma key filter to the first clip. Make sure that it's set to key out anything brighter than the threshold and set a keyframe for where the transition is to begin. Move the playhead to where the transition will end and set the threshold to its lowest possible setting. Note that this creates a new keyframe. Let's ease adjust these keyframes with the smooth point tool, and there we go. In this next one, we're going to take advantage of the way the human eye works by building a transition that'll ease the viewer's eye from one shot to the next. A popular transition in many short format pieces is a dissolve with a flash frame, most commonly done with a dip to color dissolve with the color set to white. But there are ways you can make this kind of transition and give it a little more punch. We'll start by butting our two clips together in the timeline. Our lead clip is going to be the one that builds up the flash, and our tail clip is going to pop out of it. Place your playhead in your timeline about 12 frames from the end of the clip. The distance is contingent on personal preference. It's an aesthetic choice, not a technical one. First, apply a levels filter to the clip. Set keyframes for the current position of the playhead, with the levels being set at the standard, no changes yet. Move the playhead to the last frame of the clip, and now tweak your levels to blow out the image. I usually try to do this so it's more of a bloom in the image. Blow things out with a little contrast throughout, as opposed to ramp up to just plain white. Helps the viewer's eyes stay attached to the image. Notice that new keyframes have been set. Let's go back to the first keyframe we set and apply a zoom blur filter to the clip. Set the blur amount to 0 and keyframe it here. Now move the playhead to the last frame and increase the amount of blur. Alrighty, let's go back and ease adjust our keyframes so it's more of an organic move into the transition. Good. Let's go to our tail clip and apply to it a zoom blur as well. We'll place the playhead on the first frame and adjust our blur so it's increased to the point where the blur is obvious, but the image is still discernible. Set a keyframe for this amount and then advance the playhead a good 6 frames, something significantly less than the duration of the blur on our lead clip. We'll adjust the blur so it zeroes out, creating a new keyframe. Let's back up our playhead and place it over the second frame of our tail clip. Zoom in on the timeline so it's easy to see. Make sure that the snapping is turned on and use the blade tool to cut off the first frame of this clip. We're not going to delete this frame. Instead, we'll select it, go under our effects menu, choose channel, and apply an invert filter. Because this is a dark clip, by inverting its channels, it's brightened up. As our viewer watches the transition, the two clips will seem to pop, one to the other with a little snap in between. This is because the viewer's eyes ease through the transition. The solitary bright frame of our tail clip gives the viewer the bright intensity of the bloom of the lead clip, but the shape, form, and composition of the tail clip. By being up for one frame, they really don't see it, but they feel it. One frame bridges the gap between these two shots. Part of being a good editor is being able to trick the eye to lead the viewer through your piece. Don't always settle for what your NLE gives you, because your productions aren't prefab constructions right out of the box. Always ask yourself what the video you're working on calls for, and when you answer that, make it happen, whether it's immediately available or you need to create something new. As for me, I'm going to transition out the easiest way I know how.